Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia. Welcome back to another Better Commandery guide video, and today we have a guide on how to build ShuoFang, but only for Bandit factions. Now this is the first time we're doing a Commandery guide on a Bandit Commandery build, but I'm doing this as part of a complementary guide to our latest Zheng Jiang early game playbook video. So if you want to check that out, definitely go give that a chance, where we migrate out of the Black Mountains and into the northern commandery of ShuoFang. So with that said, let's jump into this guide right away. So first off, ShuoFang is located on the northwest corner of the map. It is the northernmost commandery in the western half of the map, and is a very nice commandery to build for Bandit factions because it has 3 counties. Now ShuoFang, the name of the commandery, actually means north. Shuo here means the cold, bitter northern wind, and Fang means a direction. So technically this commandery's name just means the north, and it's fitting that is on the northern fringes of the empire here. And we're going to break down what makes this commandery so special for the Bandit faction, one factor at a time. So right off the bat, within the commandery settlement itself, there is a harbor building by default because it is nested on the shores of the Yellow River. So you get a harbor building in this commandery, which is additional source of commerce income for the Bandit faction, which actually lacks a lot of buildings, which we'll go into a bit later. So having this harbor building as one of your build options give you an extra source of commerce to enjoy your multipliers. And they are 3 tier 5 choices for the harbor building here. You have the Grand Fishing Port, which gives +6 food and 160 commerce income. You have the Grand Trading Port, which gives 3 food, 200 commerce income, and 75% boost to income from commerce. And lastly, you have the Spice Trading Port, which is 225 base commerce income, 50% income from commerce, and 50% income from spice, and 50% trade influence. Usually we go for the Spice Trading Port, but for the Bandit factions, the Grand Trading Port is good enough. It has a little bit less base commerce income, but you get 25% extra boost to commerce income overall, and the fact that you can't get silk resources from the silk trader buildings as a Bandit faction, it just doesn't make sense to go for the Spice Trading Port for that 50% extra income from spice. And in the late game, when you don't have that many trade routes, as your relationship with most other Han Empire factions will be pretty poor, it doesn't make sense to go for that 50% trade influence either, despite the fact that having the extra higher tier based commerce income is usually the better thing. So the build that we're going to be recommending here is the Grand Trading Port. And with this building picked out and all the bonus recorded, let's talk about some of the other specialty counties, because after all, most of our commandery guide are built upon picking the right build based on what extra counties you have. So the first county, slightly to the west of this commandery, is an Animal Tamer. Now the Animal Tamer is a great building for all factions, but for the Bandit faction, it's actually even better because you can actually get income out of these commanderies. So here you have the Animal Tamer for the Bandit faction. It has 3 tiers, like all counties for the Bandit factions. And here you will get the regular production of mounts, which you enjoy from Animal Tamers in all factions. But in addition, you get food production, you get extra income that's called banditry income, which is unique to Bandit factions, a little extra reserve capacity, and some defensive deployments, and 3 banditry food. So you get food, you get income, and you get mount out of this building. So that makes it very good for you. So obviously it's a linear progression. We're just going to pick the option at the end, which gives us 3 food and 125 income. And then the next commandery here is the Salt Mine, which is one of the better counties you could get as the Bandit faction, because not only do you get 125 banditry income and 3 food production, because you remember salt is edible, you also get 300 points of industry income. So very much like the harbor buildings, you get a source of traditional income that you otherwise might not get from the Bandit factions, because the Bandit faction actually cannot build the state workshop. So salt mines, excellent here. And finally, once we have this recorded, we have a 4th county here within the commandery, and that is our horse pasture. Now, typical horse pastures only provide discount for your cavalry, but in this case, for the bandit factions, they give a smaller discount for cavalry units in terms of upkeep, only 9% at the max 3rd tier level, but you get 3 food from banditry, 125 income from banditry. So you get income from all 3 counties, whereas if you're playing as a regular Han faction, you actually only get income from the salt mine, and the horse pasture and animal tamer is actually going to only have an upkeep cost that's going to hurt your economy. So with this recorded, we can see that ShuoFang is already building up to have a lot more income variety compared to Han factions, and the fact that it has 3 specialty counties give it 3 extra income sources. And for bandit factions, specialty counties also have the ability to build an attachment building to the county, and you can pick from these 4 options here in the black market, food tents, preparatory camp, and mustering ground. And of these 3, since we are building for max income, we're going to be building black market in all 3 locations, giving us extra prestige, extra banditry income, and extra percent income from banditry on top of that. So with that picked out for our build, we now have 150 extra banditry income and extra 150 banditry income in terms of percentage boost. So if we take all the numbers here just for the special counties and harbor buildings that's attached to ShuoFang and just do the math of what income they can bring in, we're looking at the numbers here and we will get 1,962.5. And this is without any base buildings added into the Commandery or bonuses from population, administrators, and so forth. So let's go add all those things in and see what we can get out of this very amazing Commandery out in the northwest. So the build I'm going to recommend for the remaining 5 buildings inside ShuoFang for the final full build is going to be the Grand Tea House, the Bandit Stronghold, the Master Liqueur Artisan, the Livestock Market of the Commandery Capital, and the Port Trade Association. So these 5 buildings are basically your inn building, your marketplace building, your bandit building, which is a unique bandit choice that's in the military building slot, and then the private workshop, and the final one is from land development. But you're selling food here in the land development for maximizing income. So looking at these buildings, first thing to note is that we are building this on the Imperial City, and the bandit Imperial City is called the Anarchic Imperial City. And the reason why this is because the game wants to discourage bandit faction from building tall. So if you look at the bandit settlements here, from the small city, it looks quite normal. The only thing missing when comparing the bandit small city versus a regular small city for the Han Empire faction is that you don't actually get basic peasantry income added in for mere small city building. But as you upgrade to small regional city, which is when all your tier 5 buildings unlock, to the regional city, to the large regional city, which is not shown here, and finally to the imperial city, what you have is an anarchy problem. And what happens here is you lose public order, you have the same food issue, the food distribution for higher tier settlements, you don't get extra peasantry based income, but you still get the commerce boost, and finally you get additional corruption, which is a little sad, but because of the population boost to economy that's added in 1.5, where if you have higher tier population, you get boost to income from all sources, it's highly recommended you go for these higher tier build in commanderies where you're going to be putting your administrator or underlings as the bandit faction. So we can look past the extra corruption here because your underling kind of takes that out. And just as a reminder, if you get the population up to 5.7 million and above, you'll get 200% income boost to all sources. And this is from our guide to population, which is also in our Commandery guide video playlist. So definitely go check that one out if you want. And if we add all these up and consider the fact that we'll definitely be putting an administrator here, or underling in this case, we'll get a bonus of 10% additional income from all sources, minus 20% corruption in the administered commandery, and also the additional corruption to enemy commanderies nearby, But let's ignore that one and just use the minus 20 here to negate the plus 20% we'll get from the Imperial City, and the 10% income will just be recorded into our final calculations. And of course, since we have commerce and industry income, as we have noted from the harbor building and from the salt mine, we're going to be using either a sentinel or a strategist for this position. And you need to use one of these characters that are from a Han culture background with a regular skill tree and not a bandit character, because the bandit character will not be having these bonuses. And the only reason we want these two character classes for the administrator or underling here is that they will give us 40% boost to commerce and 15% boost to industry, in addition to other bonus they might include. But those are the two key numbers we're taking out from this picture here. And if we go back to our build at this point and take a look at the other buildings real quick, we have the very standard in building with a T variation for a big boost of base commerce and percentage commerce income. We have the market wharf, which is a variation of the marketplace for commanderies with harbor buildings. It's just the standard 150% boost to commerce. And then you have the master liqueur artisan, which is the private workshop. So even though you don't get a copy of the state workshop, as we can see here, state workshop is missing, government support is missing, school is missing, and you have very different military buildings. The forge is the only building you have that's the same. Administrator office is presented, but it's a very different version than the Han faction one, where it doesn't provide any base peasantry income, so there's no point to build that. And finally, the tribute hall is this faction-wide bonus to post-battle income, and also a slight bonus to decreasing building cost, which is not relevant for creating high income. So those buildings are out as well. So that's why at the end of the day we have our commerce-focused income here in ShuoFang, with the in building in addition to the harbor, with the private workshop and the market wharf boosting it. And then even with the land development building, we're going to be sacrificing a lot of food here, selling 24 food from this building to get 300 peasantry income and additional 20% boost to commerce income. And this building is also great because it will give you 24k population growth, which will help you push your population above 5.7 million. And the final building here is that bandit building we talked about earlier. This will just give us a flat 150 banditry income, which is nice because banditry income will enjoy very nice multipliers when we add in the fact that you can share the spoils, which is something we'll talk about in the end. And finally, since this is a complementary guide to our Zheng Jiang campaign, ShuoFang will be your capital. So since it is our capital, once you become an emperor, it will become your emperor's seat. And because this is the seat of your emperor, you get additional bonuses to this commandery, and that is 50% income from all sources and 100% income from commerce, which is great because we got the harbor building and the inn building going on here as well. So take on all these numbers and also add in the bonuses we can get from the Bandit network. This is taken out from our Bandit network overview guide. And the numbers here are the same except for one change in patch 1.5.2, where the silk and the spice income of 25% each became commerce income boost because the bandit faction cannot actually get silk and spice income. So that's 50% extra for commerce income for a total of 120. And taking those numbers together, what we have in our new math is that we have 675 base banditry income with a multiplier of 262%, 300 flat peasantry income with 40% multipliers, 450 commerce income with 925% commerce multipliers, and finally the 300 industry income from the salt mine with 150% boost to industry. And all of our income sources can be boosted by the all income multiplier of 265% for a total of 14,102.25 income per turn in ShuoFang. Now this is income, so there is still some expense like building upkeep that you might have, but it's relatively low, so you should still expect to see about 14,000 income per turn here, given that corruption is under control once you get the 65% boost to corruption reduction from your reforms, and also by using your underlings and items from your court. And finally, at the very bottom, what we have here is share the spoils, and that says X times for 1,350X added to your income. What this means is that for bandit factions, their armies have a stance called sharing the spoil. It has to do with the new loot system. We talk about this in our bandit let's plays and as well as the Zheng guide, so you can get more detail about that. But in terms of the numbers, when you have the sharing of the spoils stance turned on by having army stand in this commandery, what you will get is 200% to food from banditry and 200% income from banditry. So these two numbers will help make this commandery pretty invincible, because the 200% boost to food from banditry, which you have from your 3 counties, so there's 9 food from those 3 counties, and you can boost 200% of that, so you're getting 18 food per sharing the spoils. This will help take care of your food shortage from having an imperial city and having a land development that's selling food. And then you have 200% boost to income from banditry. So if we go back to the numbers here, our total banditry flat income is 675. 200% of that is 1,350. So for every army that's sharing the spoils in this commandery, you get additional 1,350 income added onto your commandery. So if you look at the numbers on the right side here, this is a campaign that I had in our Yanbaihu Let's Play, where I had 15 or 17 armies standing inside Poyang, where I had 875 base banditry income, and you see that I got the multiplier from the banditry income all the way up to 3,481%, and with no corruption, I was making 31k income just from this commandery alone. So you could very likely generate the same deal here in ShuoFang. You have a slightly lower banditry income output here, but since you're going to get a lot more out of this commandery as a whole due to the harbor building and the salt mine, it's going to end up a lot better for you in general without this sharing the spoils trick. So at the end of the day, this is a great capital for bandit factions that starts out in the north. So the migration tactic works well for Zheng and Zhang Yan in the 190 start. And if you want to migrate Zhang Yan in the 194 start, this works just as well. So hope you guys enjoyed this guide, and see you all next time. Bye!